Can you see anything out around you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in the days in Machu Picchu, actually.
Oh, that's interesting.
I descended from the sky into this scene.
Okay. Well, do you feel like you're human?
No.
Okay. Well, look down at your feet. What do they look like?
I'm still in the air.
Okay. Well, do you feel like you're flying?
I'm not in a third dimensional body.
So do you feel like you're a spiritual being or a soul?
Yes.
Okay. So what motion are you moving in? Are you going sideways or straight down, or?
Whichever way the wind takes me.
Okay. Do you feel like you're wind?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's a pretty versatile
I'm just
thing to be.
being and feeling the atmosphere through the mountains.
And how does it feel?
Freeing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a peculiar darkness over a certain mound. It's like a thunder of lightning, cloud of lightning over this
Mm-hmm.
structure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a place that where they make sacrifices.
So are they currently making sacrifices there now?
They're about to.
Are they? Okay.
There's a circular cloud around the top of this.
Mm-hmm. What would be the purpose of the sacrifice?
They believe that it has something to do with a god, to make amends with their agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
Be it food or water. It's very isolated out in this area.
Okay.
Very beautiful.
All right. Well, as the wind, do you feel like you're a dominant feminine or a dominant masculine?
It's very passive.
It is.
Feminine would probably be accurate.
If it would be one of the two, it'd probably be feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You feel like you have a purpose here right now.
I'm witnessing an event. There's a child in a dark cave. It's about to be sacrificed.
Okay.
Isolated. There's a lot of sorrow and fear within this isolation.
Mm-hmm. For who?
The child's mother, who knows the fate of the child and cannot do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the child I am the child.
You are the child. Do you feel at times you're also the mother?
right now I'm the child.
Okay.
And I'm in a dark cave, and I hear wailing and crying. It's a scene I've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And I've entered into the body from the wind perspective.
Okay.
And the cloud over above is how I enter. I condense and condense and condense, and then just suddenly decide to enter into the child's body.
As you enter the child's body, is the child's soul still there?
No.
Is that what allows you to enter the body?
It was destined. But yes, I knew that this life would be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Isolated. Full of sorrow and grief.
Mm-hmm.
Pain and suffering.
And you agreed to do that?
I did.
Well, I was going to ask you on my next question, what do you do with the information that you witnessed now? I know.
Make amends.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive.
Mm-hmm. So then what happens to the soul of the boy that was currently in the body?
It was beaten out of him.
It was. So he pretty much endured the same thing that you're about to endure?
Yes.
Okay. So in a sense, you both are sharing experiences?
Alternate timelines.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go ahead and fast forward this tape then, and let's move this forward to the sacrifice and see what happens. And when we get there, you don't have to feel any physical sensations. You can completely witness this as an observer. So fast forward this tape to the sacrifice. Tell me what happens.
They're holding me by my feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm treated like a piece of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a mound that they're taking me to now.
They're carrying you to some mound?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many?
That's just one. It's where they do the sacrifice.
How many people are carrying you?
It's just one person.
Okay.
There's a few of us who perform this ritual.
Is your mother forced to watch?
She's fully aware of what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like she's part of the group.
It does. So she has to be a willing participant?
Yes.
Okay.
She knew. The moment the child was born.
She did. She knew the moment the child was born that this was going to happen?
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting.
She doesn't care. She did her job.
Mm-hmm. And you are doing your job.
Yes.
Have you reached the mound yet?
The child is barely conscious. I'm aware of what's going on,
Okay.
but I'm connected to its body.
Okay.
They perform a circle around us.
Is it necessary that you be in the body when this happens?
Yes.
Okay.
It is the sacrifice.
Okay.
The child's life comes with me as I take it and go back to the clouds and the atmosphere. And the cycle continues. It's an agreement.
Has the sacrifice been performed yet?
They're doing it now.
Okay. When it's over, I want you to follow the light. Let's see where it goes.
I've returned to the clouds and the atmosphere.
Okay, so you're already up there. Alright, well, before we get too far, I want you to take a look back down. Can you see the body laying there still?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to be within seeing range. I want you to be able to see the body. Because from that perspective, or from that position where you're at now, you can look back at that entire life and see it from a different perspective. So when you look back at that entire lifetime, what do you think you learned from it?
It wasn't about learning from it. It was just a cycle. Giving and taking. I was always afraid of it. And now I know why. And I know who took the life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know who gave the child, and I know who created the child.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those figures were necessary, and both of those figures terminated the child. Knowingly, apathetically. Without fear or judgment. I was a boy.
Excellent. What do you think was the purpose of that lifetime for the boy then?
To experience. The soul was beaten out of the child. And
was there anything as specific he was supposed to experience?
yes,
Mm-hmm. What would have that been?
the transfer of consciousness.
To experience a transfer of consciousness. Excellent. Thank you.
From the mind of the body to the mind of the soul and the environment.
Very good. All right, let's go ahead and follow that light. Let's see. Let's go back up to the clouds. Go through the clouds beyond. Let's go to the other side of the veil. Let's see where it goes. You can go ahead and fast forward that.
Okay.
Okay. What do you see happening?
Right now I'm just pure white light.
Okay, excellent. So let's go ahead and move this scene forward to when something important or significant is happening. Let's go ahead and move forward. Tell me where it goes or what's happening.
Time is speeding up.
Mm-hmm.
The world's continuing in chaos.
It is.
And I'm here now.
Do you have a sense of how much time has passed by?
8,000 years.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Many eons ago.
So where are you right now?
I went back to this Machu Picchu.
Okay, so you incarnated back now?
Yes.
Do you feel like you're still a soul, or do you feel like you're a part of a being?
I'm a human now.
You're a human. Okay. Look down at your feet. Tell me what they look like. Are they male or female?
Female.
Okay. You feel like you're young or old?
I'm middle-aged, medium. I'm pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
It's the perspective of the mother bearing the child for the sacrifice.
Okay.
And the father. We'll call him the king.
So the roles have reversed.
Yes.
Okay. So, but you feel like you're the humanly soul, not just a spiritual soul?
No, now I'm giving birth to the prince.
Oh, okay.
If you want to call it that.
Right.
There's other words.
The prince. Okay. Is this prince also going to be a sacrifice?
No.
No, okay.
He's destined to live.
He is. So do you live with the king?
I do.
Okay. And do you feel like it's a good life?
It is. It's past the days of the sacrifice. The civilization of this area, Machu Picchu, is dwindling down.
Would you consider this peaceful times?
Peaceful, slow, not so much rain over a kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
The cycles are passing and passing and passing, and we're coming to the end of a cycle. And we know what's going to happen to this kingdom.
What do you think is going to happen to the kingdom?
A decision must be made.
By who?
Those that we perceive to be gods. Those who are here to rescue us and take the civilization to the next level. Because the civilization is dwindling.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that they are in fact gods, or
No.
do you feel like they're extra dimensionals or extraterrestrials?
From this perspective, it's extraterrestrials,
Mm-hmm.
and they are the genetic engineers of this civilization. They are the programmers and the controllers.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in the civilization. Now the civilization is coming to an end.
Okay.
And we're standing at the edge, watching it, knowing the truth,
Mm-hmm.
but not knowing what comes next.
Well, using your best impression, where do you think these people are coming from? Or these beings?
They were created by the extraterrestrials
Mm-hmm.
and genetically engineered and manipulated to perform certain tasks.
Okay.
But there seems to be a messenger that's coming to this experience, this kingdom, and they're bringing a message from the Aztecs.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody anticipate what the message is?
Death is upon us. we're going to be extinct.
So did they come to save you, or did they just come to warn you?
There was a potential agreement, a decision to unite
Mm-hmm.
if we surrender.
If you surrender, where do you go?
The depths of their hell
Which is where?
in their kingdom,
Which is where?
the Aztec.
Mm-hmm. So they take you below ground? Or do they bring you to another planet?
They bring us below ground. They imprison us. They don't trust us. They've heard of our sacrifices and our rituals, our practice.
Mm-hmm.
They learned it from us too. But they know who we are, and they know we came before them. And for that, they fear us.
Okay.
And so they imprison the entire, whoever they can capture, whoever flees, whoever stays.
Well, just using your best judgment, or your best knowledge, do you think it was the sacrifice itself that created the idea for them to end your civilization?
No.
No.
The sacrifice was the connection to God. And those souls who agreed to be sacrificed agreed to strengthen their connection to God
Mm-hmm.
and experience that connection.
Okay.
By inducing the greatest fear that can be projected into a human.
Mm-hmm. So this is a message or a warning that this is what they were going to do. Let's go ahead, fast forward this tape to when they come. Tell me what you see as they approach you.
Fire.
Okay.
It's in the night.
Uh-huh.
They're coming up the path. We've braced ourselves for this attack.
Are they coming in any type of aircraft, or are they on ground?
Oh no, this is the other civilization.
Okay.
This is the Aztecs.
Okay.
Invading and capturing us.
All right.
We chose to stay. We knew what would happen. We
So-
knew it would be a distraction.
Okay, so they're coming up the trail.
Yes.
What happens next?
They kill anybody except the royal family. They capture the royal family and they enslave us.
Does anybody know what happened to the royal family?
I was there.
Mm-hmm. So what happened?
I watched the killing of my mother and father. They sacrificed both of them. And they made me watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was next.
Okay.
Chopped our heads off
They did.
in front of large crowds.
Crowds of their own people?
Crowds of their own people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and they locked the rest of your people up?
Fed them to their beasts.
They did. What were their beasts?
Their own people.
Okay. And they ate him?
Yes. Alive.
Really?
But the royal family was destroyed in as much painful agony as possible.
Okay.
And the rest of whoever they could capture became their way of generating sacrifice and fear in the crowds to show what would happen if they disobeyed the rule.
Mm-hmm.
They captured our people to do that.
So do you feel like they've kept your kingdom there? Or do you think they went back to their own?
They captured everybody they could from our kingdom, and they took them to the Aztec kingdom.
Okay.
And decimated Machu Picchu.
Okay.
They destroyed everything so that we would no longer exist. Little did they know who we are.
Mm-hmm. And who are you guys? How are you different?
Oh, we're extraterrestrial.
Okay.
Definitely Andromedan in origin.
Mm-hmm.
This was our attempt at manifesting in this reality. One of the early attempts for creating life on Earth as perfect of a civilization as we could create.
Mm-hmm. Well, as the wife of the king, now that what's happened's already happened, and you're on the other side of it, from that position again, when you look back at that life you lived, what do you think you learned from that?
Not to give up.
Hmm.
We're proud and strong. We do not surrender. We face our greatest fears. We go through them.
Mm-hmm.
This life is a way to make amends for that and balance it out. But there have been many attempts in between that have failed in the union of this royal family.
Excellent. So when you look back at that life, then what do you think was the purpose of it?
Just an experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many others, different planets, different dimensions, different life forms, different realities within Earth, underneath the surface. We're everywhere, always.
Mm-hmm. But what did you want your purpose to be at Mount Machu? What did you want to learn there? What was the purpose for it?
To connect to Mother Earth.
Okay. And do you feel you did that?
In the most painful way possible, yes.
Right? I agree. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, well, I guess let's go ahead and leave that life.
It explains a lot of the phenomena that's been happening in his life. All the actions that he's taken. We won't name which unless otherwise asked.
Mm-hmm.
But the connection to those violence, this first 28 years of this lifetime was the completion of that cycle, and now he can begin anew.
Does that first cycle, does it have a name?
It's just the old ways.
Well, I know cycles signify something. What did that cycle signify?
You would call this a shift in consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
an event. Edward is the event.
Okay.
We're all the event, experiencing it together. But the event was the sacrifice in those days. And understanding that life is the true nature of life. The fluidity of life.
Mm-hmm.
What it means to love and to let go.
So are you trying to tell me that the sacrifices that were symbolic to Lucifer and the devil are equivalent to the shift in consciousness, or what you call it, the shift or the event, releasing three-dimensional beliefs?
When we decide to stop doing these still sacrifices to this day in different forms and different communities and different religions and sectors and Illuminati and whatever you want to call them,
Mm-hmm.
they all happen now.
Sure.
But the creation of this new cycle through Edward and his family is the balance between those two evils, the old ways, and now the creation of new. The understanding of what life truly is versus the old ways of disrespecting life and destroying it. I did not have to destroy myself to find who I really was. And that is what this soul has done for many eons, is destruction because of the karmic debt that was accumulated in those lifetimes. But now the balancing point is here, before you.
So what do you expect to experience in the shift in consciousness? How's that going to change your life?
To remember what it felt like to be the clouds, and to remember what it felt like to be the human, and now to know both. To create that polarity, to allow the rest of mankind to move in that direction as a blueprint for awareness, because Edward is a consciousness engineer, if you will. That's his purpose here.
Mm-hmm.
We create this pathway, and we originate from the earliest time in history through the most painful means. And now that we've completed that cycle, now we get to watch the rest of humanity complete its cycle, because we understand our true nature.
Mm-hmm.
And our true nature is in heaven. We're here now, on earth, protecting all of life through completing that very cycle.
Okay, so now that that cycle's completed and you've entered a new cycle, does that mean you've entered the shift?
Not yet.
Okay.
There are still pieces that will come together. People that will play a role. Decisions that Edward has to make to fully fulfill his destiny.
Okay.
And it truly is a matter of life or death for him. Every decision he makes is a reflection in society. Every choice he makes. But now he knows where he came from and the choices he made before. Destruction is no longer an option. Now it is creation. And now it is knowing. And those who come to him to become part of that catalyst of knowing. Because it's a catalyst, an exponential one at that.
Mm-hmm.
Each person who completes their cycle will then complete and help 10 more people complete their cycle. And 10 more until it's the entire planet. And it's a very rapid cycle. It's not something that will be observed in lifetimes after this one. This is it.
Will these other people also be creating a blueprint?
Specify.
Well, your shift in consciousness is going to create a blueprint for others, to help others.
Correct.
So are the other people also creating blueprints to help others?
Yes.
So how are these blueprints going to help others?
Those who learn the ways, the new ways, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
your 5D connection, if you will be automatic carriers of that blueprint. And it's an automatic process, and as they interact with those who continue to carry that frequency, they will continue to carry that frequency, and it again will spread out in an exponential way. It's very quick.
Mm-hmm.
It does not take much time. And as Edward continues to learn his powers and assimilate them, it will help manifest this process faster.
Okay.
But this is only one frame of reference. There are many others like him who contain this blueprint.
How does this blueprint get into the hands of other humans?
It's a mental download.
Okay. And when is that done?
As soon as he says it is.
But when do they receive it?
It's an automatic process. It's a continuum.
It is. Okay.
It doesn't take much time.
Okay, so once you give it up, they automatically get it?
Like I said, it's a mental process. It's a subconscious connection. It's I'm giving you information subconsciously. You're accepting that information, and that becomes your reality.
Excellent. Very good.
And then that, your reality now with your new divine matrix upgraded, will then continue to spread that to other souls, and they will learn their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And the information in this grid will strengthen more and more.
Okay. Very good. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
Anything you want.
Okay. Edward was talking about his eyesight. He was wishing he had some better vision. What's going on with his eyes?
He chose not to see.
What is he choosing not to look at?
It's the final piece of the puzzle.
Which is?
Spiritual sight.
Mm-hmm. So he doesn't want to see the spiritual aspect of himself?
And he chose not to, and that was or if you will, to be more accurate in your terms, the karmic cycle has ended. And so the sight will be restored.
How long will it take for that to happen?
It can be instantaneous.
Okay. Is that something we could do today?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. How would you do that? What do you need to do?
Access information.
Okay. Do you have this information?
It's available.
Is this something I need to get, or can you get it?
We'll just say we can access it together.
Okay. How so?
Ask me a question.
How can we give Edmund 20/20 vision tonight?
Decide.
Okay. Is that something that you can do today?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't we go ahead and fix his eyes.
He must decide to fulfill that destiny. The agreement that he has long ago made.
And has that been fulfilled yet?
No.
But I thought you said the karmic relationship was over.
We are here to create a new together. We must agree.
Mm-hmm. Agree to what?
Continuing to build anew with the couple.
Well, let's go back and take a look at something else first then before we do that. So they meet me at the door to the white room. Inside the white room, there's a table. On that table is an energetic book.
They call it the Emerald Table, don't they?
I don't know what they call that. They very well could. But I know there's a table there. And
pieces have been given to Edward. You just call it the Emerald Table.
okay, Emerald Table. Thank you for that.
If you will, it doesn't matter what you
Yeah, no, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Do I have a representative guide for Edmund here? For Edward here?
Yes.
Okay. How many, do you know offhand, how many angels and guides does Edward have?
12.
Thank you. Is there anything in this book? First of all, does this book show us what Edmund's purpose for this life is?
To fulfill this destiny.
Which is?
Acknowledge his path.
And what would that path be?
Create new life.
Thank you. And does he have any agreements left he needs to fulfill?
There are those which his family sacrificed. They are available for him to heal.
Mm-hmm.
He knows who they are. If he does not agree, then it will slow the process.
What will happen if he does not fulfill his obligation?
They will come back in another lifetime, possibly this one. But he must choose whether to work with them now,
Mm-hmm.
or to let them come back and work with him then, or to do both.
Will he be granted ascension if he does not meet his obligations?
No.
If he does fulfill his obligations, will he?
Yes.
Okay, he will be granted ascension.
This is his last lifetime. He's committed to that.
Okay, and he's aware of that?
He leaves this dimension after this. Yes.
Is he aware of that?
He is.
Okay.
He's been told.
Okay. So now my next question is without honoring that, and he's having a problem seeing his spiritual insight, are we going to be able to heal his eyesight today?
As you wish.
Thank you. Because I think it's going to only help him as he does a lot of traveling. I know he was in the ditch today. And
he saw that coming weeks in advance.
Mm-hmm.
He could have chose a different reality, but that's what he agreed on.
Okay. So,
no harm done.
So are you going to go ahead and have you started working on his eyesight?
No.
Okay. Can we do that now?
Yes.
Okay. So as you go through and look through them, is there anything physically wrong with them?
Yes.
Okay. Because I understand that he's not seeing something. That's a different type of message energetically. I just want to make sure his eyes are physically the best they can be.
Right. He needs to be able to see to know who people truly are.
Absolutely. So as long as we're talking about eyesight, is his third eye open at all?
Always.
Okay. Fully and completely open?
No.
Could it be?
Yes.
Okay, can we do that today too?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And once we get it fully open, can we look in there and make sure there's no damage or scar tissue in there or anything going on? Anything. If we open that up wide open, I want to make sure it's clean and pure. No bad energy.
There's some. We're clearing it now.
Okay. And I'd like to also call the divine down. Can you call the divine down for me and have him go through Edmund's energy? I want him to go through all of his chakras and his aura. I want everything balanced. Okay?
Granted.
Thank you. Tell me when you see the divine coming in. You'll see an array of lights circling your body. You'll feel it here. It is a different energy. What do you see happening in the eyes? They still working on that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see anything going on with your aura and your chakras?
Not yet.
Okay. Until that happens, can we go ahead and run a body scan on Edmund too? Just check everything out, make sure it's fine.
Yes.
Thank you. And let me see if you see anything light up or glowing in there, or any dark spots.
There's still congestion in the heart space.
There is. Is there a way to remove that tonight?
No.
How come?
He's must make a decision.
Mm-hmm. What's the decision he needs to make?
To work with Thomas or not to work with Thomas. He knows what will happen if he does not. He will die too.
Okay.
That is irreversible.
Well, if he decides to make the decision today or the decision in a year from now, isn't the outcome going to be the same?
No, because the other part is Thomas agreeing to work with him.
Oh, okay.
They have not agreed to work together yet.
So that is a relationship that's going to have to play out.
Yes.
Okay. As long as you're speaking about Thomas. Have you started the body scan yet?
Yes.
Okay, good. Where's it at? You going from the head to the feet or the feet to the head?
That's complete.
It is. Okay, everything's good?
No.
No? What'd you find?
Aside from the congestion,
Mm-hmm.
there's still damage to the neck vertebrae.
How did that happen?
Sudden trauma.
Mm-hmm. From what?
Past life.
So he's carrying it over from a prior life?
Yes.
Does he know what the message is from it?
All life is precious. Express your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Share that universal love.
And does he know that now?
Not yet.
Edmund's not aware of that yet, huh?
Not fully.
Okay. Is there something is there something that we can say or show Edward to get him to see that that is in fact true? If it is.
The space between worlds is insignificant.
Mm-hmm.
He is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is him.
True, but the neck damage or sword or vertebrae is a message to remind him. And if he's aware of that,
Of his mortality. It was the first mark in this life
mm-hmm.
of what happens if you do not listen.
Well, is that something that we can heal up for him today so he doesn't have to be in pain?
He's not in pain.
Okay, he's not. Okay. How's it affecting him?
Range of motion.
Mm-hmm. You mean by limiting his use of the neck?
Essentially.
Was that anything that Edward wants to work on today? I mean, it wasn't on the list, but as long as we're here, I think that we can try to get it worked on.
Yes, I can agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. So if we were going to work on that for Edward tonight and give it its full flexibility and expansion and usage, what do we have to do to it to consider it healed?
Just continue asking and we'll do the rest.
Okay, thank you.
What else would you like to know?
Well, I'd like to call the divine down and go through Edward's energy, and I've applied healing code in all the energy ports, and now I'd like the divine to come down and go through those and clean them up, balance them out, make sure everything's working in perfect harmony. Edmund is a healer, and he deserves to have a healthy body that is balanced and efficient. So if I can get the divine to come in and work on Edward and heal him up, I'd appreciate it.
Granted.
Thank you. I had another question. Edward was wondering about his connection to higher realm spiritual beings, whether they're council members or angels or archangels or whoever. What is he going to have to do to be able to connect to those higher realms to reach people?
Reach for that timeline, and he will find the answer.
Okay. Can we give him an example of that? Can we show him in his mind right now what that would be like? Show him an example of opening up his mind and connecting with the higher realm. Tell me what you see happening.
Almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Frequency is increasing.
Oh, nice. So yeah, they'll show you what you need to know. Just watch. Tell me what you see happening.
It's like an accumulation of pressure. Watching a sphere of energy.
Mm-hmm.
The collision of different energies. Integration. Complete.
Does Edward feel like he's made connection yet?
No.
Okay. They're still showing you. It'll come in. There's nothing for you to do. Just lay back and relax. Let it apply itself. See anything happening yet?
It's what he's always seeing
Mm-hmm.
when he closes his eyes.
Describe it to me.
Just fields of light.
Mm-hmm.
Light beings, light bodies, flickering, working together.
Okay.
Frequency is increasing. Continuing to increase. And increasing.
So what he was seeing all along is correct?
No,
No? Oh.
there's still more.
Mm-hmm. What do you see happening there now?
Just a lot of white light.
Okay.
It's getting brighter.
Still?
Mhm.
Okay. Let's make that connection. They'll show you what you need to know.
It's complete.
Okay.
It will make more sense in time. Unless you choose now.
Well, I really don't have any questions for them right now. I think intention is going to have to matter something. I think it was important enough to show him how to connect to the higher realms. I know he's going to want to try. Is there a council that oversees his records or that is in charge of him that he could speak to?
It's accessible.
Okay. Well, I like to access that council if it's accessible. Yes.
Okay. Proceed.
Yeah. Okay. Am I speaking to the council member?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a name you go by?
You can call me Ypsilon.
Epsilon?
Ypsilon.
Okay. Well, hi, thank you. Welcome for coming in. I'm having a session here with Edmund, and I'm wondering myself, is there any downloads he can get, or any advice about his health or upgrades energetically that he needs as he proceeds into the future?
Definitely.
Okay. So for the downloads, I mean, what can we give him as a download? What can he collect from me today that would benefit him?
What you see is what you get. You can upgrade, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
the cerebral cortex.
Okay. What kind of difference might we see in that?
Increased conductivity.
Thank you. Now, I'm concerned about his ascension status.
Why?
Well, I think because his spiritual being has got him here in this life to do that. This is going to be his last life, right? In 3D to be able to take care of that. If he's going to take care of it here on Earth.
Just listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy.
Okay.
If you don't listen, consequence. He's spent many lifetimes knowing that. He's ready now because he can access those timelines. He knows how he's failed.
Okay, so you don't see an issue with him getting his ascension status?
It's not a question.
Okay. All right, back to his health. His cerebral cortex, that's going to increase his energy?
Conductivity, yes.
Conductivity, okay. And is there anything that he can get to sustain his eyesight?
Just listen. Continue to listen, walk the path, and the healing will be revealed as the correct people are serviced.
Okay. Is there any way that you guys can run a scan on him to make sure that he's getting all the minerals and vitamins and nutrients that his body's requiring? He's sufficient?
Deficient.
Oh, deficient in what one?
Protein, many minerals, including iron.
Are these also downloads we can get energetically, or does he need the...
It is possible to construct that matrix without needing to inherit it from another substance.
It is. How would we do that?
We can do it now.
Okay.
Complete.
Thank you. And did that cover all of them that he's deficient in?
He's deficient in water.
He is. Okay.
Dehydrated.
Okay.
It decreases his conductivity.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right.
And electrolytes.
With electrolytes?
Yes.
Okay. You guys probably know more about him than anybody. What would be the best way for him to go ahead and
continue taking the classes he's taking? He's following the right path, and the teachers are showing up as they need to.
Okay, is he contacting them or are they contacting him?
Works both ways.
Okay. And the rest of his family members are going to be around and they're going to be available for him to honor his agreements with?
Always.
Okay. What do you think, in your guys' opinion, would be the best way for him to advance his quantum touch healing and convert it into mastery?
No more death threats.
I agree. Okay, no more death threats. What else? What else can he do in a physical sense that would help project him into mastery? In a way that Edward would.
Edward desires to connect to the clouds and really learn how to conduct electricity.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible, and it's accessible very easily.
Is it necessary for him, though?
Yes.
It is, okay. So as a necessary thing for him to do, he will find a way to do that?
The right person will show up.
Okay, excellent.
He may think he knows who it is,
Mm-hmm.
but not to attach to that, because it may be somebody very different. Somebody
Okay.
that's already in his life. He knows who it is now.
He does.
Just a different teacher. Manifestation of himself.
Well, can I write it down on paper for him in case he forgets?
His name is Emmanuel. He's already working with him.
Okay.
Another
The
piece of
Emmanuel? Or...
another piece of the royal family, yes.
Okay, nice. Is Edward also a member of that soul family?
Yes.
Excellent, thanks.
And number 12. He's one of them.
Okay.
The third one.
He's the third, number 12?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The blue planet that he wants to connect to.
You can see it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very etherical. Contains some volcanoes and
Is he on there now?
beds of water, yes.
You can see it?
Beginning to, yes.
Okay, good.
Trees. It's like an early version of life. One of his first experiments, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
as a creator.
Well, you said it's a blue planet. Is it
Less dense than Earth.
It is. What's making it look blue?
Spectrum of light frequency that passes through the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a moon. and it inhabits a larger planet, several moons.
How many moons does it have?
7.
7 moons. Is it a moon itself?
The planet?
Mm-hmm.
No, the planet is its own entity.
Okay. So it has its own consciousness also?
Yes.
Does it communicate with the consciousness of Earth?
Through Edward, not directly, but through Edward.
Okay. I was just curious. I know some planets they communicate.
Continue searching and find the answer.
Okay, thank you. So what's he seeing happening right now on the blue planet? Is he still seeing it?
In this creation,
Mm-hmm. What do you see?
there's many empty lands. It's very etheric. It's actually Edward himself as an experience of a planet, or a moon, if you will, as being part of that orbit.
Mm-hmm.
He's manifesting that and developing that specific moon. It is his job to provide the information to manifest life.
Okay, so he's in a sense creating a place for his own existence.
Yes, it's his first experience or manifestation of a planet. There have been many, but that was the first.
Interesting. Okay. Okay, well, I think the concept for coming in and giving us this information and showing
There's so many
Edmund this.
questions you could ask.
Oh, okay, that was my next. Are there any other questions I could ask?
What other pieces are there?
You know, what other pieces are there?
Acknowledge the other moons and the planet itself. What is its hierarchy to the other moons? What is his relation to the other moons? How do those people represent in his current life? How do they work together in harmony? If there are 7 moons, who are the 7 people? If there's a planet, who is the planet? How does that integrate into this current existence? And how does he, as a creator, create life on this planet? He knows that he is capable of constructing information in the field. That's all.
Excellent. And what about the second question I could ask?
What is appropriate destruction? Deconstruction.
What is appropriate deconstruction?
Deconstruct old paradigms. Do not allow them to exist anymore. They do not belong here. How?
How?
Reverse engineer them. Instill a new program. He's working on it now.
Where would he get the new program from?
Memories of other experiments on a planetary level.
Mm-hmm.
If you can access other experiments and creations, and he'll know which ones follow. And that will allow him to appropriately deconstruct certain energetic fields. But it all works through harmony with the correct 7 moons and the correct planetary structure. He'll know who they are when he sees them.
Are any of those moons anybody from his present life?
Yes.
Would it be appropriate for me to find out who? Not all of them, just a few.
As you wish.
Okay.
He is the 7th moon.
Okay.
The 6th one would be Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Those who complete their creation can then join the planet. The 5th moon would be any child that he decides to create.
Oh.
And so the 4th. And so the 3rd would be any child that those children decide to create. And so the 2nd. And so the 1st. And as this creation cycle continues, Edward will then merge his consciousness with this planet, and then have the capability to construct these different realities. But presently his existence is on this plane. His experience, as he is about to gift to Randall. Randall was the 7th planet, now merging with the sun.
Well, what happened to Randall then as he took the 7th planet, or the 7th moon?
Repeat your question.
What happened? You said that Randall was the 7th moon?
Yes. It's just a position.
Oh, I got you.
They all work together. They're all the 12.
Mm-hmm.
But they're playing different positions, and they can shift the position depending on their level of consciousness.
So who gets to be the planet?
Randall.
Oh, okay, Randall is the planet then, okay.
He then merges with this Earth and becomes part of the consciousness after he graduates his level of mastery. And Edward continues to graduate his level of mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Randall does not need to die. This is important. To achieve that level of mastery, he can continue to live.
Okay. Very good, very interesting.
But they are one creator, ultimately. Different versions of the same paradigm.
Does it show in your records if that planet's ever given a name?
The familiar name of Nibiru seems to be fun to play with.
Nibiru?
There was not a human consciousness to perceive a name at that time.
Okay. Yeah, that is an interesting name. Is there anything else that you think that we can ask or express for Edward tonight?
Learn to control the elements. He is capable of it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need help understanding it. He's done it before.
Okay.
Just do it. Stop looking for other contracts.
I agree. Does he hear that tonight?
Yes.
Good. So do you feel we're complete tonight?
There's always more information.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you would like to personally ask about your own creation? What do you want to manifest?
Oh, the ascension. Yeah, I mean, I've been putting my focus and energy on the ascension and healing. And
perhaps you guys work together.
Yeah, well, perhaps we do. I think we are. And I think this is the beginning of a relationship that will continue to grow. I currently am in the midst of manifesting another light language channeler.
Edward is open to light language.
He is.
And would very much like to receive that information.
Okay, is there a way that we can get him to start getting downloads that would work in harmony with the sessions that I'm doing to provide me with the information I need to get these people these codes for their ascension?
Yes.
Okay.
Granted.
Thank you. I'd really appreciate that.
That's your service.
Thank you very much. Outside of that, that's about all I have for this tonight.
There's still other questions you have. They're in the back of your mind if you listen for them. That one right there. Don't question it so much, just ask it.
Well, for a personal question, there's always been one in that I've always wondered is, what would be my relationship to the blue stone guy?
Specify.
It was brought to my attention sometime in the past that I had a relationship, and there's a relationship to the term the blue stone guy, and that was in relation to myself. I don't know what my relationship to that term is.
You constructed it.
In what way?
As a creator.
Mm-hmm.
Edward's consciousness is not fully accessing what you refer to, but that is the answer.
Okay.
What more?
That's it.
That feels complete, yes.
Yes. Okay, excellent. Thank you. So then I'm asking the council to receive with much love and much thanks for their help and information today. And I'd like the subconscious for Edmund to fully integrate and come back in. Let me know when you're here.
Okay.
Hi, okay, was there anything else that we had healing-wise for Edmund today? The scan was complete. He did the work on his eyes.
I guess the eyes can take time. It's just a belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge the subconscious belief that is restricting this instantaneous healing.
Okay. Well, the council also advised us that he's going to start getting downloads for channeling light language.
Yes.
Excellent. I will provide him with material as this starts to happen, and it can be in any way, shape, or form. Anything that's going to allow me to get a symbolic message and codes from the divine to help these people ascend. So whatever Edmund can open up and allow to come through, that would be wonderful. I think we've got all of his questions answered. Is there anything else that you think we should ask? Was there a special issue that was in response to for him to understand, or is that more or less a statement for humanity?
To love his creation.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Good information.
What are the restrictions? He'll now proceed to know the truth as love being his creation.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll have the unlimited access to information to fulfill that dream. Right now, he is constructing a group of people in his city that he calls quantum community. Trust that the right people will show up, as they are his pivotal trainees, if you will, to pass on the information, the legacy, so that once he does exit and transcend this reality paradigm to his next project, that he will appropriately pass the right information to those people and trust his heart, not what other people say. It is not true that what you say is a means or definite. There's a lot of egoic problems and malfunctions, if you will, that think that when one thing is said, he automatically thinks of the polar opposite. Now he can experience both simultaneously without needing to question himself.
Right. Well said. Did he hear that loud and clear today?
Not clear enough.
Okay, well, I have the audio and the video for him to remind him. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
Because I had to overcome that myself, and I think it's a very important thing that everybody needs to understand. So I'll let that be a message for humanity as well.
Thank you.
Okay, well, do you feel like we are complete?
Really acknowledge that this whole ascension process is up to whatever timeline you choose. There's no tomorrow. There's no yesterday. If you create that frequency, that is what you will see in your reality, and that is the manifestation of what you desire. There's nothing that you can slow you down at this point. Just continue. Message received.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right. I'm going to also incorporate a suggestion for him towards the end of the session. Do you think that would be appropriate?
You know the best answer. This is your creative moment.
Okay, thank you.
Do as you will.